I brought up this piece of paper I kept all the way since last Super Bowl. I wrote this a year ago. And
Really?
what
Take
it
a picture and send it
says
to us.
is that
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Dorm Debate Podcast. The Super Bowl is finally here, guys. The Chiefs versus the Eagles. The two teams left standing. Caleb's Eagles are in the Super Bowl yet again for the second time in less than 5 years. You were in 2018, and
That's crazy.
with a completely different team. Now, look, let's just get right into this. Chiefs-Eagles, Super Bowl matchup. Let's talk about the Eagles for a second. The Eagles were in the Super Bowl 2018 against Tampa Bay. That was a long time ago, guys. We were all living together.
New England.
Oh, what did I say?
Tampa Bay.
You said Tampa Bay.
Oh, because
But that's
Brady's,
'cause Tom
Brady's on
Brady
Tampa. Sorry.
Yeah, he was on Tampa.
Back a
now
long time
retired.
ago when he was on the Patriots. Back in our college days. Yeah.
The scary man is gone.
The scary man's gone. We were all living together, and look, the Eagles pulled off what was a crazy upset win. And
Yeah.
now, fast forward years later, only 8 players are remaining from that Eagles team in 2018. But you have a new quarterback, new running backs, new tight ends, new receivers, like a completely new team, new coach. I mean, to start off with that's pretty weird that a team makes the playoffs in this span of time twice with completely different players. Caleb, do you want to speak on that just a little bit? How does that feel? Because usually with it, when a team makes a playoff or makes the Super Bowl multiple times, it's like, oh, is this team like a dynasty, or oh, this quarterback is really good. You have two completely different teams that are now competing for a Super Bowl, and you could have both win. It's like after that, if maybe the Eagles win, it's like, who's your favorite? Who's the better team? Who knows? But what are you feeling?
You saying all that like that, it just puts it into perspective. Because, like I said last week, I was in the city for them to go to the Super Bowl. So just to say that they're in the Super Bowl again, as an Eagles fan since he was like, also, as far as I've been alive, I've been an Eagles fan, and in the highs and lows, it's crazy that they basically nuked that team and still came back. Like, some teams have been rebuilding. Now the 8. I said 8 players. I'm sure many of them that stayed are very, very good players. I'm thinking Kelsey, Johnson. But even so, it's crazy. I think it's a testament, to answer your question a little bit. It's kind of what I allude to a lot when I talk about it. Not that you guys don't, but it's something that is not really as flashy, but just as important is the administrative part of football. Beyond the field is like the president and the operations and the teams that go around it. And you see like the owner too. I mean, I think Lurie's hired the right people. I didn't know who Sirianni was, and to see him come in, and they hired Doug too. So it's like, learning when, and Andy Reid is a great, these are just some of these coaches kind of go, you need to change of scenery every now and then. Mm-hmm. But it shows with Howie Roseman as well. Like, as much hate as he gets, you got to be a certainly tough person to go through the lows when things don't work out, as some of the drafts turned out, and then the highs of being tough enough to be a GM for as long as he has. So I think it shows that part of the Eagles organization working really well. And it's crazy because, there's certainly a lot of players I miss from that team. It's going to be like cherished memory, because I remember it was our college days, and it was the first, I think it was the first Eagles Super Bowl ever. I think they won the first one before it was officially called the Super Bowl. But still, it's a memory I will love and cherish forever. But in comparison to some teams that have just either, not to say this lightly, but they've sucked throughout that period, for the Eagles to be that high and then lose our franchise quarterback after trading away the Super Bowl MVP, to then land with Hurts, making it back, is crazy, because I certainly underestimated him and wasn't appreciative. I think it was Jared and Jonathan. You guys were the most bullish on Hurts. Mm-hmm. We'll talk about more how you feel now, but I was still in the Carson Wentz camp. I have nothing against him, but I was like, hey, I like Wentz more, and in hindsight, I was wrong, and to this day I don't know what went wrong with Wentz, but I'm very, very happy with Hurts, obviously. So yeah, to see the Eagles come back after so many teams that have went so many teams have tried rebuilding and are still rebuilding.
Yeah,
in that
it's like
span of years.
It's the fastest rebuild that I could remember. I mean, it's almost like not rebuild but reloading, and they
That's
just
a good way to- hey,
completely
look at you. That's good.
completely
That's good. I wouldn't have put it that way.
replacing all your star players, Ertz with Goddard and Wentz with Hurts, and what was the other guy? Aguilar and
Jeffrey.
who's the other
Yeah.
one? Jeffrey. Just completely replaced him with AJ
Right.
Brown, and it's like they just took that team and is now reloaded into this one. A couple stats before we get into picks. This is the second matchup where the number one pass offense is facing the number one rush offense, which is pretty cool. And I want to see one more thing. Something about the Eagles. The Eagles need 5 sacks to break the Chicago Bears single season sack record, which seems like a lot in one game. But when you got Brandon Graham and Fletcher
is.
Cox, anything's possible with them.
Reddick too.
Reddick, yeah. Oh my God. So let's get into the picks. Eagles, Chiefs. Let's start off with Jonathan here. You should say some words. I feel like you know who's gonna win. You're from the Cowboys, NFC East. You don't really like the Eagles too much, but you like Jalen Hurts. Who are you picking for Super Bowl Sunday?
I am picking the Kansas City Chiefs.
Oh. Okay. So Caleb, we already know who you're picking. It's on your hat.
I'm
Too easy.
picking the Eagles.
Picking the Eagles.
The Philadelphia Eagles to win the Super Bowl.
Okay. John will go last. I really don't know. It's tough, man. It's really
I respect
tough.
that.
It's really tough. But I gotta rock with Frick. Eagles.
Say it with chest.
Eagles, fly on the road to victory. Philadelphia
Yes.
Eagles.
My ears are still ringing from all that in the bar I was at last week.
John?
So I have a couple stats. I know I'll get into the stats of why I'm picking the team I'm going to pick, but just some general stats of the two teams. There's some stats that are floating around on how equal these two teams are. They're both coming into this game with a 16-3 record. They've both scored 546 points this season. They both have 6 All-Pros, including one of the Kelsey brothers and their quarterback, and they're both the number 1 seed in their conference. They're basically identical in all ways. I know we'll get into the stats of why the teams we're choosing, we think they'll win, but I do think that the Eagles are going to win this game, so I'm picking the Eagles to beat the Chiefs.
Oh,
Thank you.
no way. You're picking the Eagles?
Yeah.
Jeez, Jonathan
means
stands
a lot.
alone again picking the Chiefs. Your champion was the Bengals. They lose to the Chiefs, but you don't pick the Chiefs.
No, the Chiefs don't deserve to be here, in my opinion. They're not that good.
Oh, wow, that's not.
Wow.
I had inklings, but I was very curious. All right, cool. Well, I want to get into why here. I mean, I'm obviously very biased, but I did see that stat that some articles I was reading, like one of them was like, it's interesting because we've said this, and I wonder in your guys' picks if this was a factor, or in Jonathan if this was a factor. But we always talk about defense winning championships. But one of the articles was saying that this might be one of the most statistically even teams ever seen in the Super Bowl. Like in terms of the stats, all you guys read, there are just, for one, there's another one on the other team. It's really interesting from the statistical perspective. But
Well,
now we get into matchups and things like that, things are going to change. But of course, there has to be a winner. But just for a narrative going into the game, it doesn't seem to be that easy. The spread, I think, is favoring the Eagles
1.5.
by one and a half
Mhm.
for now. It can change, but I was a little surprised to see that. I mean, I'm an Eagles fan. All the season I've heard about our schedule being weak and stuff, but I know it's Mahomes and the Chiefs, and Reed is a great coach, and so
I mean,
Um,
that's got to be Jonathan.
yeah.
That's got to be why you're picking the Chiefs. You've said all season long the Eagles have not played anybody.
Exactly. Right. Wise words.
no, no, your words.
I think people. It's funny. People like anytime Patrick Mahomes is underrated and the Chiefs are underrated, and they're everybody's picking the other team, they end up winning, and that's because Patrick Mahomes wants to prove he's the very best out of our time, and he's going to prove it again. Everybody, just not you guys, a lot of people I've spoken to, Eagles, they want the Eagles to win. They're picking the Eagles and all that. That's the worst. Anytime, the only time the Chiefs lose is when everybody thinks, "Oh, the Chiefs are going to win this."
No,
And
you
they
don't think it's
usually
the Cowboys glasses on right
anytime
now.
it's kind of
little
like it
bit.
reminds me of LeBron. Anytime they think, "Oh, they're about to lose this big game, they're going to lose," he's going to come and show up. I mean, people surprise me. He beat the Bengals with one leg. Okay, he beat the Bengals with one leg. So he's going to be basically 100%, right? And he's going against this Eagles defense. And don't get me wrong, the Eagles defense is good. The team is good. Offense is good. But great people like him, potential GOATs like him, they embrace challenges like this. They're going to make sure they do everything in their best ability to make sure his team wins, And so the Chiefs are going to win this. Patrick Mahomes is not going to lose this.
Yeah, but
he knows
but
people are going to pick him.
Hurts basically won 2 playoff games without a throwing arm. It was hurting him.
Yeah.
That's
and,
actually
and hey, that's
that's
great.
one thing-
That's great by him.
That's one thing
That's
I
great
asked
by him.
People were
Jared
saying he was-
before, I think yesterday. Jared said to save it for the podcast, but
yep.
what are you
Yeah,
guys
but
What are you guys more concerned about? What do you think will affect the player more? Mahomes' ankle or Hurts' shoulder? Because both of them don't seem to be too bad. I mean, both teams won last week. But
Honestly, Hurts' shoulder wasn't that bad. Like Mahomes, you can clearly tell.
no, but they shot him up.
He was even limping.
They shot him up.
No, he didn't.
He was
didn't get-
faking
no, no.
the limp. You know he
no,
was
he didn't get-
faking the limp.
No, actually,
he wanted to make
wait.
it seem like he was
I
all
don't think
tough
they
and
said-
everything.
You guys
said-
can fact check me, but I don't think he got shot in this game. He said.
Oh,
think
you
he said-
okay? If
No,
you
no, he said he didn't
were
want-
you in
they
the group
said-
chat on that one?
I think they said he didn't
Yeah,
get
he didn't get shot.
Now
Yeah.
that
That's
could be a
such-
smokescreen for the
that's
Eagles,
such
for whoever they were going to
bullshit.
face. They knew they were playing the Eagles. I mean,
No, he didn't.
Andy Reid. I did hear that what Jonathan's saying is not out of nowhere. I heard that as well. But then I also saw Andy Reid say like when Mahomes did that like 10-yard run to get them when he got is a dumb foul, but not on his part. I think it should have been put a hand on him. A good person, the last 10 yards that he ran. Andy Reid was quoted as saying like, no, he's mentally really tough, but I'm sure he was in a lot of pain running those 10. That was the fastest
he
he'd
was in
run
pain. You
all
could
season.
clearly tell Mahomes was in pain.
But-
Hurts, you can't compare it. Hurts was like maybe 85, 90%. Okay, you can barely tell anything's wrong. Mahomes, everybody can clearly tell he's playing with literally
No, but
playing with one leg.
now he should be fine. It's been 2 weeks.
Yeah, exactly. He should be fine. So imagine now he's fully healthy.
Oh,
I
so
mean,
so
it
you're
should be
more
scary.
concerned about Hurts' shoulder? You think that?
I'm not
could-
concerned about any of them. I think we'll actually have a good
All
healthy
right,
game.
somebody
Like,
else
I'm
answer
not
the
gonna be
question
concerned.
because you can't.
No, we'll have a good healthy game. I don't think those aren't going to be factors in this game. I don't think.
Okay.
And so I just find it funny. Everybody always, I don't know if it's because people don't like him or what. Everybody's always choosing against Mahomes. Do you guys have? Not
Okay,
seen
no,
him enough?
all right.
I can
First of
tell
all,
when I see a
Jonathan, do you know
generational
that
talent.
Mahomes has never, when the game kicks off, he's never been an underdog in his career.
Oh,
And the spread. And
Does it-
on the spread.
Like
spread? Okay.
betting, that he's never
Yeah,
been the
betting
underdog.
wise.
So right now, it was like the Bengals were favored to win that game up until like a couple days before. I mean, if the Eagles are favored by the time the game starts, I'd be surprised. Everybody would because Mahomes has never been an underdog. So we might finally
Yeah,
see.
Well, he hears some media and stuff, and he doesn't talk back. Like he just quiet and listens to it, and then he uses that.
So does Hurts.
Michael
So does
Jordan,
Hurts.
kind of like Michael Jordan, and I took that personally. He's not gonna say it out loud, but in his mind, he's taking that personally. He's like, "You actually guys think do you not know who I am? I'm about to be the greatest of all time. You're all picking the Eagles. Okay, I'll show you. But and that's what's gonna happen.
Yeah, I think it's the opposite. I think we know who Mahomes is.
People don't learn their lessons. It's just gonna keep on happening. Keep on going against him. He's gonna
You
win.
didn't learn
The
yours
Eagles.
with
Everyone
Brady.
always bets against the Eagles when we're in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't learn mine with Brady.
I
You
was-
gotta
I-
accept it. They're great. So he's gonna win. And so it's like a lot. It's funny. Everybody's picking the Eagles on there. I think he's gonna remind people quickly that he's the greatest. He's about to be the greatest of all time. He's gonna remind people really quickly. And so again, I know the Eagles have a great team on paper, great defense. Yes, they're probably gonna get some
But
sacks.
do you have any
yes, they're gonna make
stats
plays.
though? Because you're bringing up all these things like
This-
Mahomes
yeah,
wants to
if-
win.
if-
like
If you look at stats, which I'm sure most people have done it, the Eagles are probably favored in terms of defense. They have great stats on defense.
you don't
great
care
stats on
about all
offense.
that.
I don't care about that. This doesn't matter. Here in the Super Bowl, it matters about guts. It matters about, as coaches used to say, nuts and guts. Okay, The Super Bowl. That's what it matters about. The stats is
But
nice
how do you
to a
measure?
certain
How do
extent.
you
Probably
how do
better
you
on fourth
measure that?
down, though.
Like, there's no way to measure that.
I'd say, well, the
There's no way to
latter
measure that.
part, I'd say maybe fourth down efficiency.
Yeah.
Big
third down
cojones.
efficiency.
At this point, it's whoever wants it more. Okay, the stats help to a certain.
So
level.
you think every team that has won the Super Bowl wanted it more?
Yeah,
I mean,
of course.
that's a tough.
That's immeasurable, but
It's impossible to measure. How could you say that with confidence?
I can tell you with confidence because the team that's usually the most physical team usually wins the game. Who's
Did
over
the
most
so the Cowboys
physical is.
didn't the Cowboys didn't want to beat the
49ers
49ers.
are more physical.
Well, the most physical.
Cowboys
team usually
didn't want to
wins.
win.
The
No,
shut up.
Cowboys
Shut up.
didn't
Shut
want to
up.
win.
No Cowboys talk.
The
No
ones
Cowboys
that are-
talk.
The ones that are willing to literally, like not literally, but fine. The ones that are willing to. It's kind of tough because DeMar Hamlin's, but the ones that are willing to like die, usually like pain themselves and be physical. Those are the ones that usually win. You gotta want it more than you want to breathe.
What about,
those are the teams that win? Those are the people that win. And so yeah, that team wants it more if they win the Super Bowl. Yes. And so
What about-
whoever wants it more? It doesn't matter what stats.
You
at this
think-
point.
you
At
think-
that point in time,
Jared,
who wants it
Jared,
more?
you had a thought? Jared, you had a thought?
John, for you as a rebuttal to what Jonathan's saying about the Chiefs, like, why are you picking the Eagles?
All right. Jared, first of all, can you reiterate your stat that we had about our 4 Super Bowl winners and how we thought that one of our Super Bowl winners from our bracket had to win and why?
Correct. Yeah, it was. There were 3 stats, and it was all defensive, like turnover differential, total
Opponent
defense, whatever,
completion percentage.
opponent completion percentage, and you have to be in the top 15 in all 3 of those statistics. And if you're in the top of those 3, and if you're in the top 15 in those 3 stats, every team that's been in the Super Bowl with those stats has won, except for 2020 Bucks. And this stat is held since 2011. So since 2011,
So
teams
basically,
that are
12
top
of
15,
12 of the last 13 Super Bowl winners.
the only exception was the 2020 Bucks, which was obviously the GOAT, Tom Brady. So other than that year, that is the criteria. Top 15 in those 3 statistics.
And the Eagles are the only ones left this season.
That is
that are
correct.
there. The Chiefs weren't.
The
so
Chiefs
another thing-
actually didn't have one stat inside the
so
top
the
15.
defense sucks, basically.
Yes.
So
Wow.
along with that, I brought up this piece of paper I kept all the way since last Super Bowl. I wrote this a year ago. And
Really?
what
Take a
it
picture and send it
says
to us.
is that each of the last 6 Super Bowls, the team with the better ranked defense won the game. So we always talk about offense wins games, defense wins championships. It turns out that still holds. So the last 6 Super Bowls, the team with the better ranked defense won. And this year, Eagles have the 8th ranked defense and Chiefs have the 15th ranked defense. So obviously, Jared, your stat, my stat, they're both defensive stats. But another thing that I just saw is that teams. Oh wait, let me pull this up because this is pretty crazy.
Yeah, take your time.
Yeah.
While I was just saying that. Okay, go ahead. No, sorry.
You can go, Jonathan. I wanna-
So
I like hearing
in
yours.
Super Bowl history, teams that have more rushing plays than the other team are 47-7. And the Eagles are number 1 in the NFL in rushing plays, and the
Well, I mean, is
Chiefs-
that because they're up?
Well,
is that 'cause
it
they're, like,
could be,
eating?
or maybe
It's
because they
interesting how
can
stats play,
control
but
the
it's-
clock. Their defense gets more rest.
47.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, and yeah,
Fair question. First thought on both. That's a good stat because it's probably true that they were probably better rushing, period. But then it's also interesting how stats can play against you because
Right.
how much were they up
Yeah.
by, or you know what I mean? That is
yes,
interesting.
That can play against you. And speaking of playing against you, I'm gonna steal John Slender. Okay, here we go. Here's a stat. You want a stat? I'm gonna give you one.
Yes, I want one. Give me one.
Teams wearing white jerseys have won 15 of the last 18 Super Bowls. The Chiefs are wearing white jerseys. Thus, the Chiefs are going to win the Super Bowl.
So you have one stat. That's
it's
it.
a fact, but it's a,
Wait,
it's a stat
That
based on
has
an
nothing to do
immeasurable
with how
thing.
they can play.
Oh, that's all I need.
I also have
The one
something
stat was one that's based on like a.
off of that with like jerseys. I just
is
saw
funny.
this today that
Okay.
There's
I
been
can't
3 Super Bowls in Arizona. Okay? 3 Super Bowls. The home team has never won in Arizona.
Eagles are at
So-
home.
Eagles picked their home.
No.
So not only did they pick the green jerseys, but they're also home.
Guys, Eagles had the choice. So the home team alternates each year. So next year AFC will be at home and get to choose their jerseys. The Eagles were the home team and they got to choose. And the NFL came
Wrong
to them.
choice.
They're like, look, 15 of the last 18 Super Bowl winners have worn white. Do you want white or green? And they're like, green.
They didn't tell him that stat.
Yeah.
They didn't know.
They did-
won the
Whoever
last
made
one
that,
in
whoever made
green.
that decision, they didn't know about
Oh
it.
yeah, wait.
We won the last Super Bowl in
He's
green.
wearing
What are
the
you talking about?
jersey.
Wait, yeah, Jonathan, that was
It was against
one
the
of
New
the
England
3
Patriots
Super
in
Bowls
white.
that were the exception to that stat. He's wearing it. That they
We're staying
beat
true to
them.
ourselves.
But
That's
they're
the way you
also
do it.
home. So two of those things you can't. Yeah.
Yeah, but Jonathan, what
yeah.
about my stat with the last 6 Super Bowls, the better defense won? And then the Eagles, the other stat Jared had, top 15. That's 12 in the last 13. Those are better odds than the 2 you have.
No, these are stronger. Okay, everybody knows. it.
In what
Why-
way?
Okay, honestly, I'll be a little nervous as an Eagles fan. The white jersey is powerful. Okay. And-
We
All right.
wore white pants, I'm sure. We won in white pants, so against the Patriots in white jerseys. So white pants got to get their. We got to get them. a
Maybe the
little credit.
Eagles are the only team that could defeat it.
Yeah.
They literally are like, oh, what was that? Like the last 14 like have worn white. Like, well, we're
Yeah, you don't think Jalen
Like,
Hurts
they
is
just-
listening to
and
that
they
and
just-
he's like, what? You
they
think
just-
I'm going to lose because of a jersey
Yeah,
color?
they love being.
He's like,
the
are you
underdog.
kidding me?
And
They
another
love
thing,
being
like,
an
stack
underdog.
the odds
and
against
another thing,
us.
like Jared was saying, like I said, and I still mean it up until this day. To this day, the Eagles have not played anybody. To this day. To this day, they haven't played anybody. So
Wait, hold on,
49ers
Jonathan. What
49ers
happens if they win this game? Are the Chiefs good enough
played the-
for them to beat?
I'll make it my
Cowboys.
respect, but I still 49ers are they had who's it? Josh Johnson in? Josh Johnson and Christian McCaffrey.
He's
went
in the
back there.
NFL.
Hey,
Everybody,
he
you said it
aiming over
yourself.
there, but he
You
threw
said
over
it
there.
yourself.
And I was
He's
like,
good enough. These guys are in the NFL. They're good enough to do something.
But this is championship football. Christian McCaffrey is supposed to throw to the right. He threw it over there on the left.
Wait,
over
didn't
there.
you say?
It's
Weren't
not-
you the one that said that any quarterback can run this offense? Purdy's nothing special.
No,
I didn't say
that was me. That was me. I'll take that. I'll take that bullet. That was me.
Yeah. It's honorable of you, Jared, to swoop in front of Jonathan and just absorb.
Wait, Jonathan,
Yeah.
they played the Eagles beat the Giants 3 times. You said it yourself. It's tough to beat a team 3 times, let alone twice.
Yeah, but the Giants weren't that good. I like the Giants, but they weren't that good.
I'm the Eagles fan. I gave them more respect.
The
than-
Giants
look,
made it
let's be
further
honest.
than the
We're
Cowboys.
good.
Giants
Let's be
made it
honest.
further
Hey.
than the Cowboys.
Hey, let's be honest. The Eagles had a
Dang.
nice little ride to the Super Bowl. They had a nice
Stop,
peaceful
dude.
ride. It was
So
Sorry
did
to
the
be some little
Chiefs.
kid
The
ride
Chiefs,
at a roller
the
coaster.
Chiefs had
Chiefs
it pretty
battled.
easy. The Jaguars?
Chiefs
Chiefs
battled it.
battled.
The Chiefs battled it out. Bengals? The
Bengals aren't that good. I mean,
Your Super Bowl.
Oh, the Bengals aren't that good now. Wow. The Bengals. Honestly,
this
the
is
Bengals.
baiting you,
could have
Jonathan.
the Bengals should have been there. Okay, it could have easily went the other way. The Chiefs had a battle. So
that's what I'm saying.
I
Their
don't think-
games are
I
too
don't- I don't-
close. They're bound
I
to
don't
lose
think they-
one of these.
no. I don't think the Eagles know what's coming for them. I'm telling you, especially Nick Sirianni. Okay, people say, okay, this is first year as a coach,
does
right?
everyone hate him?
This is the first year as an Eagles coach.
Second.
Okay. Well, people.
Still crazy for
Somebody,
second year.
even somebody, I think on the Giants. I don't know who it is. He criticized him like this week. He said, "Hey,
Yeah,
hey, this
yes.
guy, he's basically been dealt a good hand. He has great.
It is. He
players,
has.
experienced
It's
players.
easy. I mean, how could you
it's
not
easy.
win?
Exactly.
no,
That's
it's not
that's the
that.
thing. So
No
in
respect.
games like
My
this,
coach.
in games like this,
No
in games
respect.
like this, where you're gonna have to coach your guys up, especially on the defensive side with Patrick Mahomes and stuff. They're gonna score. The Chiefs are gonna score. Can the Eagles stop it? I don't know if they'll be able
The
to
Eagles
stop
have
it.
the best
Nick Sirianni-
run of the best
and
defense.
Nick Sirianni, instead of running your mouth and cussing out the ref and trying to, look at the camera, let's see how good you can draw plays this weekend because it's going
Do a
down
little
tonight.
head nod
It's going
and
down
then-
this weekend with Andy Reid. He's going to show you who's and he also said something about Andy
I
Reid.
don't wear-
When Andy Reid took over the Chiefs, Nick Sirianni was on the coaching staff on the Chiefs, but Andy Reid didn't bring him along to be on his coaching staff. And Nick Sirianni said he took that personally. He's saying all this stuff and talking all that because he thinks his team's good.
Wait,
But
so now it's a bad thing to take?
no,
it
well, I'm saying
personally?
no. I'm saying like
Oh.
Mahomes is
like,
well,
also
Mahomes
good.
is a player. That's great. The coach for you to talk like that, that's childish. That's immature, and it shows you have insecurity issues. And he's gonna.
But now the
and
coach-
Andy Reid's gonna give him. He's gonna give him a spanking and show him, hey, I'm your daddy. He's gonna show him
No,
this
no.
weekend.
All
I'm
right.
your daddy.
for context for people listening, Sirianni, from what I could find, because some sources were, I mean, this is sports journalism is an interesting area. This isn't, from what I could see, some sources were saying fired. I believe the situation was that when Andy Reid went to the Chiefs, he had his own guy in the position Nick Sirianni was, and Nick Sirianni was already in that position from the former regime. So to my understanding, he just didn't choose to renew, but it was maybe an essence of firing. I could be completely wrong, but the point is there was that sense of friction. There was that turnover in that court, in that whatever position it was. But Sirianni did say there's no hard feelings, but it is something, you're going to use that as a chip on your shoulder naturally. But he did say in the press conference, I think yesterday or something, that he's not like using that as serious energy, but it's not his motivation to beat him. But I think it is something you think about when you're like, oh, you fired me and now I'm, here. It is something that's kind of come to mind. It's human.
You don't say that before the game. Like, he hasn't read the book. They even said 48 laws of power. One of the rules: you don't tell the enemy like what you're thinking right before you're about to fight him. No, wait till after the game, after you beat him, and say, "Hey, remember that time when you fired me?"
Sometimes you do. John does that all to us. John does that to us all the time.
See how things work and stuff. You don't tell the.
Tells us what.
See what I'm saying? So he's not. That's not wisdom. What he did. He's trying to talk. Run his mouth. Andy Reid heard that. He's like, okay, we'll see. I'll call my best plays and we'll see. Show me that I should have hired you. Show me I should have kept you. And the Eagles are digging themselves in a hole, kind of like the Bengals did with the mayor. They're talking all that crap and stuff. Nick Sirianni, if he doesn't shut his mouth,
Eagles are
gonna spank him. I'm warning you.
All this talk, not from you, but it was the Giants safety who was salty. I mean, all this talk it was a referendum from these people, from these pros who were salty about the Eagles. It was the Giants safety and Brandon Ayuk.
I was going to say
the 49ers. So maybe they are right factually, but the sources and the recency bias is coming from two players in high positions from teams that the Eagles beat. It's just all this disrespect is where is this openly coming from? A part of me does wonder if this is because we talk a lot about Mahomes, and I think I certainly give him a lot of respect. As an Eagles fan, I'm not, you guys know me, I'm not the cockiest or outgoing as the city of Philly is known, but my Stillwater runs deep. But I part of me really does wonder if this is going to be Jalen Hurts' game to establish himself as one of the quarterbacks in the NFL. Like, if we talk about, as we had the whole season, about the top quarterbacks in the NFL, we're thinking a little bit, a lot of the guys in the AFC. What about Jalen Hurts being the guy more than, what would I think people still look at him as we did as Garoppolo, kind of like being an object, like point guard for an offense. But then you saw when he wasn't on the team, the Eagles struggled. So all these great stats that were supporting them did center around what they could do with Jalen. So I don't think he's a chump, and I think he's like, this could, I think he's already a star. It's just not as media. The media just is. We have a lot. I think Mahomes is already known to be the next heir, as we've talked about in years. I don't think there's any disputing that, whether he wins or loses anyway. But when it comes to winning this game, I think this could show that Hurts is not just the checkbox as a quarterback and a healthy quarterback, but more bring his own X factor, is what I'm trying to say, to this game that we can't fully see or appreciate in the regular season. Because one thing that is, there is in the beginning of the season, I did the Instagram post of easiest schedules. A lot of the NFC did have that, NFC East specifically. But what I was thinking about, and I'm biased as an Eagles fan, was you don't control who you play against, and so there's something to be said there. But what's true is that if your biggest, not Jonathan specifically, but a lot of people bring this up as the first reason why, and it doesn't go to the core of, are the Eagles a good team? Like, could you be the New England Patriots in a terrible AFC and your schedule be easy, but still be, peak Brady, peak New England? And it doesn't, are the Eagles a good team fundamentally? Now, you can argue that's drawn out through tough games, through tough opponents, and I certainly believe that, and I think they have. But I think the Eagles, and I've been thinking about this a lot, because I genuinely do believe they're going to win. I'm an Eagles fan, so I'm biased. But I look at these numbers and stats, and recent. I like numbers. I'm not a crazy statistics person, but recency, past success is not predicative of future success, right? So it's fun to have these numbers of the white jerseys and stuff like that, but or like the home, and there's always a stat that could play against you if you look hard enough. So I look at it, and the Chiefs barely beat the Titans, and they were in Arrowhead. They had to go to overtime, and then in the fourth, they needed the fourth quarter and overtime. No, I don't think they needed. Yeah, and they needed overtime against the Texans as well.
Correct.
So not to say those are, and the Eagles struggled against the Washington football
And
team,
the Colts.
Commanders, whatever. I still can't get over calling them yeah. So like, I'm not saying because they almost lost to the Titans or almost lost to the Texans are bad. No, those teams have essences of good. But I look at the strengths and weaknesses of the Eagles, and I genuinely think the Eagles have the more fundamental, well-rounded football team, and in ways that would make me almost agree with the Madden simulation. But what prevents me from going that far is because past predictions of Madden being right.
What does the Madden prediction say, Caleb?
Do you have it off the top of your head, Jared? I looked at it.
I
Yeah,
do.
I think like
Okay.
what is it? The Eagles will win.
The score
Eagles
that
win, like it's 37 something, right?
31-17. Eagles win. Mahomes was 29 for 39 passing with 249 yards and 1 touchdown. And they didn't say the MVP, but supposedly the MVP was A.J. Brown, who had 114 yards and 1 touchdown.
That's why it's a game. They can't be further from the truth. That's not going to happen.
So wait, so how?
I'd take it with a grain of salt,
the
too.
Madden's?
Yeah.
What is Madden or EA's record? I guess like how
I have
correct is
that.
this usually?
So they are almost 70% accurate, but
Even then, I'd take it with a grain of salt.
they're actually in a losing streak because the last 7 Super Bowls they've been 2-5, and I checked with the last time that the Eagles were in the playoffs or the Eagles were in the Super Bowl, they picked the Patriots to win by 3 points. So they were wrong in that. So they're actually in a losing. They're actually 2-5 right now in the last 7. So it's not very good, but it's just funny to look at, and it's fun to look at, and it's good.
And I remember that they bet against it. I mean, a lot of teams. So it's like I can see why the Eagles are favored. The reason Mahomes and Travis Kelce, I guess we have to clarify now, they're just such big X factors because part of me really does agree with Jonathan that he's probably the best quarterback playing in the league right now. I mean, there's only 2, in the whole league. And I think that's maybe part of the reason why the Chiefs are, with the record they have, they're well coached. They have these X factor players. But when we think about the Chiefs' identity, a part of it does involve kind of starting off slow and then in the second half working your way back with how good you kind of wear out the defense. And I think part of that kind of cover over some of the weaknesses that I've seen. It's just
to build off that. I have a similar thing with the coaching and like Sirianni and Hurts and really establishing Hurts as like one of those elite quarterbacks. For me, like going in, like I always wanted Hurts to take over, and then once he took over, I wasn't like too impressed. Obviously, this year, winning this many games as a quarterback, you have to give respect to. The quarterback is the main position, so any type of wins you have to give credit to him in some way. But I think a lot of fans are looking for that. Some may say like Heisman moment. They're looking for that moment with Jalen Hurts because right now it's in the playoffs. It's you blow out the Giants. He doesn't need to throw. Then Purdy gets hurt. He doesn't need to throw. So it's like now you face the Chiefs, and a lot of fans are looking at Hurts and saying, well, like there's always that thing over his head of, well, like can he win a game with his arm? Like if it's back against the wall, can he throw for 300 yards? Can he throw for 3 touchdowns? The way that Patrick Mahomes does it. That's where the tiers kind of separate between quarterbacks is like you have the quarterbacks that need help and need receiver talent. And then there's the people like Mahomes and Brady who don't need that talent at all, and they make the receivers better. And that's where the separation is. But Hurts could make it closer which I think this is how the game's going to go. It's going to be very close. And so any mistake that Hurts makes is going to be emphasized.
Awesome.
Yeah. And so any missed throw, any like overthrow, people are going to be watching and making note of that. They're going to say, oh, there was that opportunity. He missed that opportunity here. He missed that opportunity there. Unlike when you're facing the Giants or when you're facing the 49ers where Purdy's hurt and the Giants just get blown out. They're not really looking very closely at each of his throws. This game particularly with Hurts, everyone's going to be looking at every single throw. So he's going to be under a microscope. And you're really going to see if he's one of those elite quarterbacks or if he's like, I don't know, like a Jimmy Garoppolo or something where you build talent around him for him to succeed rather than Mahomes and the Bradys where they make the receivers better and they can just thrive in any offense. So
yeah. And it's not really like a lot of people, again, the media, they like to do the quarterback comparisons. It's Jalen Hurts versus Patrick Mahomes. It's not really the case. Honestly, Hurts should have a good game. Honestly, he should score some points
with the receivers
People-
he has.
Well, people, yeah, exactly. And also, like, guys, if you look at Patrick Mahomes and Tom Brady, even, and you talk about Jalen Hurts, and even I guess Josh Allen, look at the defenses, guys. Mahomes his defense has always sucked, but yet he still finds himself every year in the championship game, AFC Championship or Super Bowl. Why is that? He's one of the greatest. He's probably going to be the greatest of all time. And so people are coming to the Super Bowl mainly to watch this thing. Chiefs offense versus the Eagles defense. We're not worried about Jalen Hurts. He's probably going to score some points, but the Chiefs defense is expected to give up a good amount of points. Everybody wants to watch the Eagles defense and the Chiefs offense. That's going to be something to watch, right? And so that's going to be fun. But yeah, look, I think Hurts has been a little bit lucky as well to be on a team with a great defense. Let's just say how it is. He's a great quarterback. He's doing what he's coached to do, I guess, being a good game manager. But I agree with Jared. There's levels to this, guys. He hasn't been on Mahomes' level.
And
Mahomes is on a different level.
Many people don't know where to put Hurts because of the trade with A.J. Brown. He's only been a starter for 2 years. He made the playoffs in the first year, but they lost first round. And then this year, obviously they have a crazy good season, but you have A.J. Brown and you have a second-year Devonta Smith and Goddard. Like, they have a lot of receiver weapons. So it's like, what do you think of this? Is Hurts that good, or is he like an average quarterback? You don't really know where to put him in the tiers, but in the Super Bowl, where everybody's looking at every single pass, we're gonna find out really quick. I mean, Hurts is he's a big play guy. He's always in the championships. In college, he was in the playoffs all the time.
Yeah.
He was in the national championship.
Yep.
But the one time he wasn't in the national championship, he got benched. But still, I mean, he's always in these type of games, and he has that sort of poise that is similar with Burrow, where nothing really affects him, and he goes in, he doesn't say much, he doesn't rile up the other team, the opponent. He just kind of goes in and puts the work in and leaves the talking for other people.
That's what Mahomes does.
Yeah, same with Mahomes. Yeah, same with Mahomes.
Well, you see Hurts looking like Batman when there's that tussle against the 49ers?
With the coat,
and
the
that
sports
shot.
coat.
He had
Yeah,
the
and he's
coat
just
that
looking off.
was like a cape.
Yeah.
Looking out in
But-
the crowd. Like, he has that cool X factor. I can see that. I could agree with
Yeah,
By the
that.
way-
Level-headed maybe is a good way to
By the
put
way,
it.
and again, just a few more stats. I don't know if you guys have seen this, but I'm going to add some to this. But I'm reading this off of something, but I'm going to add some stuff to this. So the Chiefs' record this year, 16-3. Eagles' record, 16-3. The Chiefs have scored 546 points this year. The Eagles have
Did
scored
you listen to
546
me in the
points.
beginning, or were you zoned out for that?
Yeah, but
These
yeah,
are-
but I'm,
These are the stats.
okay.
6 All Pros, same
Okay.
1 seed. I went through
okay,
that
keep on going. Okay, I have another one. Patrick Mahomes,
It's okay, Jonathan.
Texas high school football legend. Jalen Hurts, Texas high school football legend.
Oh, we didn't add
Oh,
that.
wow.
Can't forget
That's
that.
another-
Oh, wow. That's interesting. Texas rules the quarterbacks now.
Yes.
So you're saying we have a chance?
You have a
Well,
chance. Of course you have a chance.
which one's better?
Mahomes is better.
Well,
Okay.
No, Texas high school wise.
like
Like who went
like-
to
oh,
the better
yes.
who went to the better high school?
I mean, I
wouldn't
wouldn't
know,
know
personally.
either. I wouldn't know.
I'm
either.
curious.
They didn't,
You
I don't
just hear
think they won
Texas, and then
I don't think they won their
brain is-
championships.
I mean,
But,
given that Mahomes went to Texas Tech and Hurts went to Alabama, I'm pretty sure. But I bet Hurts had the better like statistical record and championships. I would say.
I don't know. I have to do some research on that.
But what about this?
Hurts did do powerlifting, which is a famous
Oh,
Texas.
he can squat.
Yeah.
He can squat for sure. What about this though? The coaching, because we just heard it with Jonathan. Nick Sirianni just gets no respect for making it to the Super Bowl, and Andy Reid is one of the greats. He's already won. Has he won 2? I think he's only won one Super Bowl.
And he goes far every year.
Goes far every year. He's got that offensive mind that is so unique, and it's hard to stop. And Sirianni's a new coach, but they have the defensive players and personnel to stop this offense. The receivers aren't that crazy. It's really just two guys. It's Mahomes and Kelsey. You can add Pacheco if you want, Jonathan. I'll make you happy. But it's really Kelsey
I like Pacheco too.
and Mahomes. And John, the Bengals had this formula to beat Kelsey, which was just bracket him and make sure that he gets no points. And then you factor in that Mahomes just kind of runs around and extends the play.
I mean, his ankle's broken.
Yeah, Hassan, I believe it was Hassan Reddick, because he was still running in the Bengals game, and Hassan Reddick on the media day this week said, like, he was asked, how do you stop Mahomes? And he's like, you got to keep him in the pocket. And that was like the main thing he kept saying, keep him in the pocket, don't let him run outside, because that's where the big plays happen. And where was Kelsey's touchdown? Running outside. Yeah. And then it was in Kelsey's just kind of free flowing a route, and all of a sudden he gets open. So you have to be disciplined.
How'd they know he was going to do that? In the 80% of the game, he was inside the pocket because of his ankle. But that one time, they didn't know he was going to scramble because his ankle.
Well, I'm talking about Mahomes and Kelsey. Mahomes and Kelsey, most of the time, it's like
he scrambles.
Kelsey is locked up for 90% of the play, and then the other 10%, Mahomes finds him.
Yeah.
So, I mean, John, you can talk about that because you knew about the Bengals bracket and Kelsey, but like, what does Sirianni and the defensive staff have to do to shut down the Chiefs right now?
Honestly, I don't think it's as much about keeping him in the pocket as it is just stopping Kelsey from scoring. If Kelsey doesn't score a touchdown and doesn't get over 70 yards, the Eagles are going to win this game. Now, most likely he's a great player, so he'll get either over 70 yards or a touchdown, but you really have to make somebody else beat you. And the Bengals did a decent job of this. I mean, Kelsey did score, but Valdes-Scantling had a great game, over 100 yards and a touchdown. So exactly. you have to prevent Kelsey from doing that. Make Valdes-Scantling do that again. Make this guy Marcus Kemp or Sky Moore or Kadarius Toney coming off an injury. I mean, Hardman's now on IR. So literally, if you stop Kelsey, you're making somebody else beat you. If Valdes-Scantling gets over 100 yards again while you have Darius Slay locked up on him, then okay, yep, you deserve to win the Super Bowl. But I doubt that's going to happen.
Yeah, and again, the way many offensive plays are designed, the better option is to get Kelsey the football. The better option on the defensive perspective is to let Kelsey catch the football in front of you. Because you always want to protect the deep and big plays.
No, I don't think they. I don't.
The best
I don't
option.
think they're
that's why
going
he's always.
into the
That's
game.
why he gets.
No,
a lot of targets.
they're not going into the game letting him catch it. Because everybody knows Kelsey. He's crazy after the catch. He's this big guy, but he always finds a way to make people miss and run past him.
They rather let Kelsey catch like a little hitch over there, rather than give up the big play like a go or a post or something.
If
right?
Valdes-Scantling
that's why
can
Kelsey
beat,
gets a lot of catches.
Okay. But the thing is that the Bengals had beaten the Chiefs before with Tyreek Hill there. And Kelsey in the previous 4 games against the Bengals hadn't scored a touchdown. Or he only had 1 touchdown or something like that. So they did a pretty good job on him previously. It was just something happened in this game.
Yeah, notice like Patrick Mahomes, he does like to use the tight ends a lot, right? And that's why, because he takes what the defense gives him. And the defense likes to give him the shorter routes and the ones he can easily tackle and stuff. So he likes the tight ends. But if you
something I was, you go finish your thought.
Yeah, so I'm saying like if you give him the opportunity, he has a strong arm. He's a bomb. Like he's gonna throw a bomb every time. That's why it was great when Tyreek Hill was there because they actually have a legit threat. And Valdes-Scantling showed that he can be that person as well. And I don't know if Tony's gonna come back. I heard he's playing. I think he's off of. Yeah, he's playing exactly. So
he is. Was it Hardman?
Hardman's
out.
Hardman.
Encrypted.
Yeah.
Someone's posting cryptic tweets was the headline, but is it on? Is he questionable?
No,
I think he's out.
IR. Put on IR.
Okay.
So one other thing I wanted to bring up. I'm sure we're all on social media, but anybody who's listening, if you're not on social media or haven't heard, there's been a lot of talk about the NFL being scripted with all the calls that people don't agree with and everything like that. And
did you find the script?
Somebody found the script, and what's funny is that everybody's talking about it. Arian Foster came on a podcast and who was an ex-NFL player. He was a pretty good running back. I had him in fantasy. He came out and said, "Yep, NFL scripted." I mean, he's like, we were really invested in it. He's like basically to the point where when we went to practice, we were just practicing what the script said. So we weren't really practicing the plays we wanted. We were just trying to make sure we did whatever the script wanted us.
We hit your marks, as the actors would say. You hit
Right.
your mark on the
So
stage.
after he said that,
It sounds completely serious.
so after
yeah.
he said that on a podcast, people started getting crazy. And this thing came out, and a tweet came out that the NFL released the script for the Super Bowl. So a lot of people nowadays in betting are trying to bet the exact score of a game because you can win a lot of money. So there's one exact score that a lot of people are betting on for this game because the NFL apparently leaked the script and somebody posted it on Twitter and it got taken down after like a lot of views, but in a short amount of time. So on DraftKings, 21% of the exact score bets are on this one exact score. And it started at odds of 250 to 1, and now it's down to 80 to 1 because of how many people that are betting on it. But the score that everybody's betting on is Eagles to win 37 to 34. And only one other team in Super Bowl history has scored exactly 37 points, and they didn't win 37-34. They won 37-24. Washington beat the Buffalo Bills. So, I don't know. What are your guys' thoughts on that?
That's funny that they say it's a script. I guess did they script DeMar Hamlin? And like
Yeah, so then
I
they
know,
were
yes.
making memes of when DeMar Hamlin reads his script.
He's like shaking his chairs, like, please don't.
When the Chargers read their
Smith, like, oh, no,
script
please.
of losing a 27-0
no.
lead. I mean,
Jerry Jones, I gotta
the
say
Chargers
this on the
really
radio.
acted really well. They practiced that well, and then if it was a script,
They sold it. They sold it for sure.
yeah,
I mean, honestly, there's a better bet out there. It's like plus 1,000 or 1,800. You could do the game is decided by 3 points. I'd rather do that. But as far as the final score, I could see that happening. Like I said, it's gonna be close, and I think a lot of questions are gonna be answered as far as like, is Sirianni a good coach? Is Hurts like a top tier quarterback? We're going to get our answers, and it's going to be close, and they're going to be every play is going to matter. And 37-34 would be awesome to see. It would be so awesome to see. Maybe a Jake Elliott ending field goal to win it. He was one of the
– actually, I have his autograph.
Wait, really?
really?
When?
Yeah. I think I went to a training camp, and it was –
Oh, that's cool, because he's the only he's one of the 8 that were on both teams.
He's
legit.
Yeah.
I mean, as a kicker too, to be there for that long.
He's great. He's actually a great kicker. I know I'm biased, but he's like actually a great kicker.
So for the game to end 37-34, I would love that. So that would if that's the script. Good job, script writers. That's great.
Yeah. It's
we agree that the Eagles Patriots is
wait.
One of the most
It was
fun
Eagles
Super Bowls
winning, right?
Ever.
Yeah.
Eagles winning.
Okay.
So that makes it
that's
better.
not gonna happen.
So
Potentially
Jonathan, I mean, the script says Eagles win. Madden says Eagles win. Us 3 say Eagles win. I mean, come on.
Exactly. That's exactly. If you guys don't want the Chiefs to win, that's exactly what you don't want to do. Like have all these things, the script and all that. Mahomes, I'm telling you, Mahomes is sitting at home with his wife and looking at all that, and he's like, oh, I can't wait to play. He's just quiet and humble. He's gonna show you on the field that hey,
No, he's making
know what
TikToks with. He's watching Jackson making TikToks.
No. He's a humble. Jackson's his own guy. Patrick Mahomes is humble. I'm telling you, he's using it as ammunition. And so the 37-34. I don't think Hurts is going to score that much. I don't think the Eagles are going to score that much. The Chiefs are going to score a lot more.
Jonathan, I have a question for you.
But you're scaring me a little bit. It's weird as an Eagles fan to have these stats go for us because the last Super Bowl, we weren't supposed to winning. So it's again, I don't know. What you asked us earlier, I want to answer your question that you asked about whether what is Mahomes' leg was more important or
Hurts' shoulder.
Wow, that's a good memory.
Your shoulder,
like a half hour ago.
Because I remembered I didn't answer. I was thinking about it. I'm gonna stick with Hurts' shoulder.
That concerns you.
Wait.
I'm gonna say I want that to heal more because I'm going.
You want it to heal more?
Of course you do.
So you're more concerned about Hurts' shoulder
because it ties to what I said about last Super Bowl, where it's energy. It just reminded me right now, just like the energy when it was everyone against us. Eagles feed off that. That's why I was drawn towards these negative comments about my coach, on my team. From the teams we beat. That's why I feed off that. I think anyone does. But what I said last Super Bowl that is, I think, fundamentally true. But I want to bring it up because it is still surreal to me that the Eagles are in in a Super Bowl. That's not a feeling I ever want to underappreciate. I'm so excited. I haven't been sleeping. I told you guys before we started recording. Well, we might have been recording. Haven't been sleeping that well because I'm excited. I'm
It's like you're
nervous. I'm
playing in the
excited.
game.
But I said this last week. I said this 5 years ago. Excuse me. And the Eagles have to play their game and not the Chiefs' game. Not try to play to win. Not play not to lose. And I think fundamentally you need. I mean, both teams are going to want their quarterback, and because if I said Mahomes' leg to be healthier, and if there was a trade off, it's almost as if saying the Eagles don't need Hurts. I certainly think they do, and they've proven that. But when I look at as a football mind part of me, I'm trying to get rid of the bias. The Eagles match up really well. One bundle of statistics that I was looking into that you guys might find interesting. That I think it was from Washington Post article about sports that as 11-man personnel, which every team has 11 people on the field, but that means for offense they have 3 wide receivers, 1 tight end, 1 running back. And the Eagles are 7th most in calling plays from this. They're also 90% in the shotgun, and when we were talking about the Bengals a little earlier, how they're always putting up a fight for the Chiefs. Some of the statistics that across a couple of articles that were, bringing up the Bengals, they would also bring up the Eagles, but at a higher rank success rate, if you will. So I think the Bengals somewhere are were 3rd in most times of rushing out of shotgun, or out of 11-person personnel. The Bengals are 3rd, Eagles are 2nd, but second most. So they run out of 11-man personnel. The second most, a little more than the Bengals, but they actually perform much better in yards per carry. The Bengals are 27th. The Eagles are 4th. So they're going up against some of the keys that made the Bengals a tough play for the Chiefs throughout these years. We've talked about young defense. Eagles have a mix of veterans and young players and excelling players. And they're also kind of outperforming the Bengals in these regards. So at 11-man personnel as well, the Chiefs defense was, I think, 24th against defending it and allowing the most points. And you add to that, they're also better at getting out at the quarterback when anyone is, but when teams are in shotgun, the Chiefs defense is worse. That's the long run of it. So you add these two facts together. In 11-man personnel, Eagles are one of the higher performing and excelling in that scheme. They also run shotgun 90% of the time in that scheme. And then the defense is fundamentally better than a lot of these other teams that have given them trouble. And I think you're going to see, and I say all this because my football brain, the analysis part, that it's I genuinely believe the Eagles have a good shot. But the X factor of Mahomes and Kelsey, we know all too well to bet against them, to be too obvious, to give them no respect. I mean, it's kind of why when I brought back to your question, John, the legs are so important for Mahomes. Not that he doesn't need them, because I agree with Jonathan. He can be a pocket passer his whole career if he wanted to. He's that good. But against the Eagles and these strong suits, these strong matchups, if you will, on defense, you're going to want, if I'm the Chiefs, I want to play my game. As much as an Eagles fan, I want the Eagles to play their game. Part of what makes Mahomes excel even higher than a standard pocket passer is when he can extend plays, because we talked about this on one of the lives. At some point, someone will get open when it's a scramble drill, and he's just really good at it. And because he's such a good pocket passer, and Kelsey's good at it, and I'm not to say Hurts and the Eagles have some experience too. I saw something, I think it was a Yahoo or something, but Steve Spagnuolo is the Chiefs defensive coordinator, right? And he played against Hurts. Well, he coached against Hurts with the Chiefs, I think, last year. And it was a week 4 last year, and Hurts didn't do very well. Not a very inspiring performance against the Chiefs. He blitzed on about 30% of his dropbacks, and Hurts didn't do well. But this year around, Hurts has actually improved. He was actually blitzed the 3rd most in the NFL this year, and actually improved to 55% completion and a pretty good ratio, I forget the specifics, of touchdowns to interceptions. And that's adding to the fact that, I kind of disagree with John a little bit, where I think Kelsey's going to have a great game. In the sense that the NFL has allowed, more zone coverage and more 2 safeties high. So what they've done is they want to get rid of the big, huge play. So you'll find these guys in the slot or tight ends. I love when quarterbacks use tight ends. We have a good one in the Eagles, but I think you can have a good game and still lose. It goes both ways. When, and I'm curious what you guys would think, but when the Eagles won, it was Brady and Gronk, which I don't know how you guys would pair that with Mahomes and Kelsey, but they were pretty, and Edelman too. Edelman. And I don't know. That's another part of it where the Chiefs, for me, I know the receiving core for the Chiefs has not been I mean, part of them, I've seen people say they miss Tyreek Hill. But for me, MVS, Juju Smith-Schuster, any one of those guys can be the guy. They just haven't for some reason or more,
Yeah.
you know? I like Pacheco a lot, and that's a good run game. But we have Sanders and a whole levy of quarterbacks. So it's like every, strength on that team, the Eagles were still able to win, and it's a different team. But then I also think, well, the Bucs played the Chiefs, and Mahomes and Kelsey, and they were able to put, I think it was David or something, on Kelsey. And at least you can never neuter these guys, but you can reduce or limit damage and, limit the variables. And I think, I just genuinely think the Eagles are really well suited to do that. My number one thing, I think, is if they don't give up on the run. There were some articles talking about like 26 rushes is the key number because the Chiefs don't lose if it's 25. And again, all of these stats, they're indicative of what's true. It's part of, I know I'm talking a lot, so I'll cut off soon. Sorry. But for the Eagles, I think I don't want them to give up the run because the Chiefs defense is not bad either. Despite the 11-man personnel stats, they're really good at scrunching up that line. And I know the Eagles have a really good offensive line too. But if the Eagles revert to not to trying to pass too much, to not playing their game, part of their game is I think this playoffs they've been 50% rush pass.
Really?
So they've been so well balanced. Something like that.
More rushing since they were up by so much.
Something. I could be wrong.
And yes,
but they're just so even. The point I might be wrong about the stat, because saying it does sound weird. I know they're but they're all. What's true is that they are really, really well balanced on every side and every aspect of the game with playmakers at every position. So Mahomes and Kelsey, as good as they are, you can't play 22 positions with the two guys. And I think the Eagles have more players than that. The Chiefs also. There's another thing. I forget where I saw it. I'll try to leave it in the description on YouTube. But the only other teams the Chiefs faced in the top 25% time of possession were the 49ers and Bengals this season. The Eagles are 8th in time of possessions with the 4th most rushes in the NFL. So some of these teams, 49ers and Bengals, we've seen the Chiefs give the Chiefs problems, and the Eagles are comparatively pretty good, if not better, in that regard. And so once the Eagles, if the Eagles get a lead, I've said this, they're really good at not giving it up because they have the O-line and the run game and the scheme to allow them to do it. So the manner in which I'm the Chiefs, of kind of starting slow, they're going to really want to make this a battle to the halftime. And it's certainly possible. I'm not underestimating the Chiefs. But I look at all these factors, and there's a strong part of me that's like the Eagles can do it. But it goes to, I'm going to agree with Jonathan a little bit, the hunger, the drive, all these stats, all these matchups. It's like injuries play a factor. I really think the Eagles can do it, but the X factor for Mahomes is too big. I'm not going to rule them out. But I don't know. It's just the footballing brain of mine is like, I do think they have a chance, but I also think Andy Reid might be, he might be the greatest coach of all time in the NFL.
Yeah, and
so it's going to be a battle.
And also, I want to point out, even though the Chiefs' defense is unreliable, I think the Bengals were probably the best offense, irrespective of the passing block for the O-line of the Bengals. I think the Bengals were the best offense they've seen this year, and they're going to be. It's going to be less challenging for them to stop Giants. Yeah, the offensive line was hurt.
It was weird because
in terms of
their line did poor against the Chiefs. Like the Bengals were looking like they didn't have the starters in, and against the Bills they looked like they had the starters in. So I know what you're saying though, but it was weird, right? I had that feeling.
Yeah, in terms of Jamar Chase and Higgins, and I think Boyd got injured towards the end, but they were a better receiving core than the Eagles, AJ Brown and Devontae Smith. Right, so the Chiefs have seen a better offense than this. And
it's hard for me to say.
And so the defense, I'm even though sometimes they're unreliable, I think they're going to step up to this game, and Hurts is going to struggle a little bit.
So Jonathan,
if you face Patrick Mahomes as a quarterback, you got to have a great game, and like Jared said, Hurts is going to have that great game.
Yeah.
Jonathan, I'm curious.
If the statistics show he's going to have he's going to show up. Mahomes is going to show up. All these days, 6-1. Well, I think he's played the top. Sorry, I'll let you go, John. But there was something else I didn't touch on. But Mahomes has played against the number one defense 7 times in his career, and he's 6-1. So that actually goes against the Eagles in terms of stats. What I wonder is when he played them, because if you're the number one defense in week 2, there's only been one game played. So I don't know that I was trying to find it. I couldn't find the details behind the stats. And I wonder if then one time was in the Super Bowl. Like, were the Bucs the number one defense?
No, not that season.
I don't know.
They were good, but they weren't the number one.
But so they were still able to beat them, if they weren't the number one. But Yeah, that's
Jonathan,
interesting.
I'm curious.
saying, Joe?
You know, we've never seen Mahomes get blown out. You know, and it won't. I don't think it'll ever happen.
It never
So
will happen.
if this is, do you think it's possible that the Eagles blow out the Chiefs? Like, do you think that could happen?
It's not a chance. People are going to see the unbalancedness of like the AFC and NFC in the playoffs. Again, the NFC was a walkthrough for the Eagles because the NFC teams weren't that competitive. They weren't that competitive. The AFC on the other side, they have superstars all around in terms of, okay, I'll call it Josh Allen a superstar. Trevor Lawrence, he's a rising star. Obviously Mahomes and Joe Burrow. They have superstars that make plays. So on the AFC side, you have that. On the NFC side, you have a bunch of young, inexperienced players that a lot of them, this is their first time in the playoffs in a while, and they're getting a little lucky. So the Eagles had an easier path there. The Chiefs faced a lot of adversity getting here.
So what?
I don't think.
What would you
not
give?
gonna be good.
I'm curious to see like what you think the score will be. Like, just give me a rough estimate of like what do you think the point differential will be?
I think many people are going to be surprised, but I think every time I say this, it ends up happening. I wouldn't be surprised if the Chiefs win by at least 10 points. I hate to break it to you. It's probably going to head in that way because I'm thinking about the defense and offense. And
27-17, something like that?
Yeah, about that.
That would make you.
I'm telling you, they're pulling out all stops. They're pulling out all stops here. I'm telling you, Mahomes is coming. And then, the defense, they make plays when they need to, right? And again, beating the Bengals gave them confidence. And so this Eagles offense are like, oh, Hurts is not that good of a thrower. Let's make him throw like every play and see how he does. He's 24.
No.
He's inexperienced. Let's make him throw.
We gotta include Hurts in that. All those superstar quarterbacks. I think, like Jared said, this is the Heisman moment. Like, this is where
We gotta wait. It's just 1 year.
It's just 1 year. I agree. We need to wait a little bit.
No, we're treating him like
But then we crown
like Garoppolo or
Burrow.
Tannehill. You know,
We can.
he was one of the
crown
top
Hurts.
fantasy players.
Burrow's
Burrow's
earned that crown.
Hurts was one of the top
Burrow had to
fantasy
go through the
quarterbacks
AFC.
this year.
Oh my goodness.
Now, there's something to be said about like the Patriots go 18-0, and then the beat by the Giants because like we've talked about this. The NFC East is so competitive, maybe because a lot of our teams, you know, I know Jared Chargers aren't, but like NFC East is really well managed. Like, we're always pretty good. There's someone who's always really good generally, you know, minus the NFC least. But there's something to be said about, you know, that does build adversity, or does it, you know, draw out a good team? I think it's, you know, I mentioned the Brown and stuff and Smith. The other part of it is this: if the Chiefs match up, like if they do press, they do a lot of press, and Brown, if they do press against Brown,
What's his stats?
Brown's really good
against
against the
man?
press. Against man, against like man coverage or that I don't know. I don't know. All the article was saying was that in improving against the blitz, Hurts was that it was talking about the matchups of the Chiefs corner, because we remember where the corner got the one of the interceptions on Burrow. There was like they had to put in they had two rookies. One of them I think will be back in the Super Bowl, but he's recovering from a concussion. The third string's also a rookie, and I'm not dogging them for being rookies. Just a lot of young talent, you know. But they were saying just the matchup if they put, I think it was
Watson.
I don't know if it was maybe on Brown, and they press. Brown's really good against
definitely a young secondary,
and it's even better matchup.
If they're able to,
they'll leave Smith.
If they're able to contain
on Watson,
if they're able to contain Jamar Chase and Higgins and Boyd and all that, I might
they should be.
AJ Brown
they should be fine against Brown and Smith.
The other factor, I said this last Super Bowl, and I say this with every great quarterback, regardless of mobile or pocket, but defensive line, you know, can you get to the quarterback, disrupt? Because that disrupts so much when you have a defensive line that can get to the quarterback, no matter how.
I'm worried about Chris Jones because he's their best pass rusher, and he's, you know, a DT, so like he's kind of big, and Hurts has wheels. It's not like Burrow where he just kind of sits in the pocket and takes the sack. Hurts is going to scramble a lot. So like the only other guy really is like Frank Clark, who's going to catch up to him. But I'm worried that the pass rush with the Chiefs against the Bengals looked a little bit too good and like too
false. The three offensive line backups.
False advertising. It's like the Bengals had a bad O-line. Like, it was a good game plan by the Chiefs to exploit that, and that was great. But I think people are overestimating how good, you know, that whole line is. Chris Jones is good, but that whole line, or their whole D-line, isn't as good as some people may think. And on top of that, Hurts can run the ball. So when Chris Jones is rushing him, Hurts is able to go out in the pocket. Burrow could not, and so for me, I think that's a big plus for the Eagles.
How long can you sustain that running? It's gonna eventually come up to you. You're gonna have to eventually sit there in the pocket and make plays.
Yeah,
Can
of course.
Hurts do
but,
that? We haven't seen that.
but if you can,
But it's
if-
hard, it's going to be harder for Mahomes though, and Mahomes you could argue is better. But the depth of the D line on the Eagles is reaching historic levels.
It's one play at a time, and like if Hurts can do that 2 or 3 times on a drive and make big plays out of it, then it works out. You know,
we haven't seen it. We haven't seen it.
He can
well,
run the
then
ball.
it goes into
What
that
do you mean?
stat about they run shotgun like 90%
Yeah,
of
dude,
the
he can run
time,
the
and the
ball.
Chiefs are one of the worst.
Yeah, he can
against
run the ball,
shotgun.
but he can't throw it, and people are gonna see that in the Super
What
Bowl.
do you
That's gonna be
mean?
sad. He's gonna
He
learn
can
from
throw
this.
it.
He's a young guy. He's gonna learn from this, but he's gonna lose. And
We'll see.
John, you asked Jonathan this, but I was curious. I'm not confident in it. But when I saw the Madden stat that it was 31-7 Eagles, makes me nervous because I don't. It's a grain of salt. I take that with, but that's my Madden brain. Let's call it that. My Madden brain looks at these matchups and these schemes, and I could see a path towards a blowout. But as a football player, injuries are part of the game, and I just know, that Kelsey and Mahomes are two on you can't game plan against greatness like that, and they're great.
And
Keep in mind
But
that the refs are probably going to want.
they're only
the refs
two men.
are probably going to want Mahomes to win. So let's just keep
well,
that in
no,
mind.
no. And let me tell you this one thing: if this happens,
They're betting against.
if
the
this
script.
happens, the Chiefs will win.
Oh,
Y'all see Kelsey. Kelsey's a center, right? Okay, and they call a lot of plays.
Jason
You'll notice,
Kelsey.
right? Yeah, you'll notice a lot of plays.
Jason or Travis?
Jason. You'll notice a lot of plays when they of them calling him like pull sweep and
Like a
stuff.
pull
Yeah,
or
exactly. He's a great puller and stuff. They have great running schemes. Okay, so if the Chiefs are able to be physical, it's not about them rushing the quarterback when Hurts is about to throw. If they're able to stop the run and stop these schemes, they're gonna win the game. That's
Right,
it.
but
Hurts can't-
nobody's been able to do
That's
that.
why
all
I was
year,
like,
though.
don't give up on the run. That's why I'm like, don't give up on the run if I'm the Eagles. So John, I agree with Jonathan on that point. Just to not, even if they're getting 0 yards and go 3 and out, don't stop running. I actually worry. And I don't worry about it, but injuries are going to be something to watch for. So Johnson against Bosa, which you could argue is better than Jones. I think the closest Bosa got against Hurts, because again, saying nothing of the offensive struggles the 49ers had, it was still their best.
Johnson.
It was still that
dominated
crazy
that.
defense you were
He
talking about.
dominated that matchup, Johnson.
Yeah, and he was doing that with a torn groin or something. So part of me just says it's amazing mental toughness the same way it is for Mahomes to play on that ankle. It is for Johnson to do what he's doing. But he is good enough to do one-on-one with Bosa and cap his ability with Nick Bosa to, I think it was close to the safety. We talked about it, that if he were to go down or be out, then you see – because if that allows the Eagles O-line to do, it's as good as Jason Kelsey and the rest of that line is. Johnson can go one-on-one with their best guy, whoever's in front, and you can put 2 guys on Jones. And that's just numbers. That's just personnel.
They're good.
So
They're probably
that's an injury that I don't want. I'm hoping he's healthy.
Johnson would have to go against probably Frank Clark. He'd be their best guy, but they can do it.
yeah,
So
they can try. Again,
That's what I'm saying
And also,
is-
the defense also has schemes as well. You can try to block person, but they have a lot of stunts and all that. So good luck.
yeah,
I'm
they're
sure
probably
that-
anticipating that. They're probably
Yeah, they're anticipating
anticipating a double team for Chris
exactly.
Jones.
You got good coaches on both. I can't. I can't agree.
Honestly,
with the slander
again,
on
I would lean more-
Sirianni.
in terms of coaches-
Disrespect.
In terms of the coaches, I'd lean more towards the Chiefs on this one.
Of course, yeah.
all the coaches.
Because yeah,
I thought they call them Spags, but some Chiefs Twitter fan. I mean, whatever means nothing. Again, it's probably less than the Madden grain of salt if you're comparing grains of salt. But people were upset about the Chiefs defense because we've talked about it. The defense is
That
not.
coach isn't that great.
but
Well, like we've
Spagliano.
talked,
But-
some of their fans were annoyed about Spags,
Yeah.
but
they did get last.
That's what they called
The thing
them.
is about the Chiefs defense, they do good when it counts for some reason. The regular season they suck and all that. When it counts and when the game's really online, they'll show up. Like
Well, their
last
offense,
week.
I'd say. Huh.
Last week there should have been a lot of big plays by the Bengals.
That's true.
I mean, there were some big plays. Jamar Chase and
they capitalize on mistakes, some turnovers
yeah,
too.
but they
Fair
made
enough.
the plays when it counted, and I think that's what they're gonna do. I think greatness feeds on them, just like Tom Brady. His team, everybody played well and stuff when he was there. Mahomes, the defense feels like they have to play well because they know he's gonna play.
Slay and Gardner Johnson are too good, though. I think. No,
they're
they're
okay.
too good. I don't like
The
to say too good.
personnel.
What,
They're
who's
great,
that
though.
guy?
They're so good.
Who's
Sauce.
no, the guy on the Bengals, the corners.
That's Gardner.
They have good. They had a couple
Eli
good corners on
Apple?
the Bengals. Eli Apple.
Oh, Eli Apple.
So
yeah. Dude, I'm just thinking of whatever he was doing on the sideline.
Burrowhead.
I don't know what
I
he
think
was.
you guys are gonna be excited by the amount of points Chiefs are gonna score. Or Patrick Mahomes is gonna score. They're gonna score. Let's see if the Eagles can keep up. I don't know if they will.
So
Okay.
as we wrap up,
Okay.
I have 2 fun questions for you guys. So
Okay.
the most popular food, as we all know, is chicken wings on Super Bowl Sunday. You know how many wings are consumed on Super Bowl Sunday?
How many wings are consumed on
How,
Super Bowl Sunday?
I've heard this stat.
yeah,
Okay,
how,
let's
how
see.
many wings?
50
Okay,
million.
How many wings?
So you have a
So let's assume that 50. Let's say 45 million people are gonna watch Super Bowl. 45.
Are you kidding?
Okay,
It's
45
like
million.
way more than
Is that the right-
It's like
Okay, probably right.
Yeah,
50.
it's like
What is the view-
quadruple.
the
that.
No,
viewership?
it's it's like
What's the
it's like
viewership? What's the viewership?
it's
for the
like
Super
42
Bowl?
million.
No,
Okay, so that's 45.
Yeah.
Okay, so 45. Let's say everybody gets 3 wings.
no.
Everyone
Everybody
eats
eats once.
3 wings.
Everybody eats once.
3 wings.
No, wait, how
75.
many wings?
I
When you
eat
have
none.
wings, how
I
many
never
wings do
eat
you have?
wings on Super Bowl.
What?
Wait, that's
What?
a lie.
No, that's
Have you ever been with me on
Surely
Super
you're
Bowl where I
joking.
ate a wing?
Yeah.
No.
Yes.
Yeah, we've been with Super
the
We
Bowl.
did
first
not
I saw
eat
you.
wings.
You were
We got
munching
wings
down-
over.
You were munching down
We got
a wing.
wing-
I saw you.
Yeah, we got wings
the
over
Falcons
in the
Patriots?
2018 Rams Patriots or 2019 Rams Patriots.
I didn't eat
We got
any of
wings
mine. You
over.
forgot
eat
that
any of the
night. I
wings?
didn't eat any. I had a stomach ache.
That's a lie. I got the order. I picked it up.
Have we
You ate
committed-
wings, John. I remember.
we have video evidence of you eating a wing on a Super Bowl.
Jared, the number is 135 million approximately.
What?
Amount of
Wings?
wings
Of
consumed on the
wings?
Super Bowl. Yes.
Okay.
Pounds of wing.
Or you said pounds or how much in general? How much?
No,
wings?
like individual wings.
Okay, 135 million approximately.
Okay, does anyone have another guess?
90.
90 million?
No, 90. Just 9. No. Yeah, 90 million.
Anybody else?
I'm gonna say I'll do pounds. I don't know. I ate 6
And then you got to
wings.
figure out how
ounces
many
is that?
chickens died for these wings.
I do. Those
You know what? Sorry,
I
I'm changing my
hope they're
number.
all-
225.
I hope-
225 million.
That,
I'm
you're going
assuming
that
five
more?
wings. Everybody eats 5 wings.
Everybody eats 5?
I was gonna say
my,
That's it?
my
I would
say
sisters don't
everyone
eat
eats
wings.
five.
I eat like 12, dude.
I was gonna say 5's a good baseline. It's actually
what do you-
probably
No
what do you
way,
think,
it's
Caleb?
220.
I'm gonna say not. I'm not doing any math. I'm just gonna say 80 million.
You
80
can't just go
million
10
pounds.
million
80
under me. That's not.
It's like Price is Right.
Yeah, you can't do that.
Well,
say seven,
you're all
that's
wrong.
99.
You're all wrong by a lot. 1
Million sounds like a lot of chickens.
4 billion chicken wings consumed
10.
on
People eat
Super
like-
Bowl Sunday.
We were under.
People eat like 10.
I felt like I
One-
was going too high.
Dude, 5 wings is low.
Or
I
20,
eat like
people
a
like-
Wait,
dozen.
hold on.
1 billion pounds of wings.
Wait,
Not even the
last
whole
year
chicken?
I had 20 people at
No,
my
like,
house and
wings
nobody ate
consumed.
wings. That means somebody else
you
ate
think
like
the stat
80
is gonna be
wings.
So yeah, that means you're saying basically.
I mean, I
if
could-
approximately 45 million people watch the Super Bowl, you're saying that about everybody eats 20 wings.
I actually
No,
looked
that's
it up just now.
impossible. That's
I actually just
so
looked it up
wrong.
now. The average is around 100 million. Last
Okay,
year it was
okay, that makes sense.
last year it was 99 million.
Okay.
What,
So
viewership?
99 million. Yeah, viewership.
Wait, you can't just tell us a wrong stat before we guess.
Yeah,
I said it's
exactly,
more than
yeah.
45. You're like, no, it's 42
No, you
million.
didn't.
42.
You can't just do that.
You said 80.
Yeah, well, I
80
would have
wings.
doubled it.
Yo, no, yeah, exactly.
I would have said 1 point something billion if
You're
you told
way
me it was
off.
100 million viewers.
So I was still the most wrong though. I thought we were way higher.
Yeah. Yeah, Caleb said like 225 million. You're like, no, not that high.
Well, that's because you said
I was like,
42
I know
million
the-
viewers.
You wouldn't have changed it.
You threw me off 'cause I was like
1.4
the
billion.
World Cup's $1 billion, and I remember the Super Bowl being not nearly as much. But
It
not
is
being-
going down. I'll tell you that. It is going down.
pretty high.
And then
Gotta get better
the next
commercials,
thing
better scripts.
is Rihanna's performing at halftime, and I'm curious what everyone's favorite Rihanna song is.
Ooh,
Okay,
there's so many good ones.
I got one. Okay.
I mean, you wouldn't count the Eminem.
Everybody has to sing. All right, everybody has
just
to.
a
Everybody has
feature.
to sing it.
No.
Yeah, come on.
Start-
It's just fun.
Yeah, you
Come on,
start.
it's fun. Okay, I'll start.
No one can be a Rihanna.
Life's a game, but I don't care. I break the rules, so I don't care. Da 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 da. It's a dangerous love affair. Basically, it's from this town. We
Wait a
go
minute.
out
Wait, I don't-
tonight. Hey, 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 hey. She's gonna run this town tonight.
Oh no, that's not the lyrics. That's something I
That
just
was good.
Run this
That
town.
was really good.
trying to sneak it in there.
Chiefs are gonna run
I mean,
this
I'm-
town tonight.
Umbrella's iconic. She is the one with Paul McCartney.
You gotta sing it. You gotta
Kanye
sing it.
West.
We'll guess.
5 seconds from wildin'.
Yeah, it's such a fun
And
bop.
we got 3 more days till Friday. I'm trying to make it back home by Monday morning. I swear something. I don't know what the rest is, but that's a good one. Paul
sure
McCartney
it's
and
That's a good one.
and He Who
That's
Must
a good one.
Not Be Named.
But is that a Paul McCartney one? I mean,
It's Paul
obviously
McCartney
Love
and
the Way
He
You
Who Must
Lie.
Not Be Named.
Yeah.
It's
I know the Hogwarts game.
It's a
just came
direction.
Out, so.
It's a direction. I'll have to give you
Voldemort
that.
with Rihanna.
Mr. West.
All right, Caleb and John, your turn.
Wake up.
Your turn to sing.
I'm not gonna sing. I'm not gonna. I
You
really
know,
don't
in
even
chorus.
know many Rihanna songs.
That's Diamonds.
Oh, you do. I know, John. And deeper down, I know you know.
I really don't.
Right, like the diamond.
I don't know any of these.
Gonna make me feel like I'm the only girl in the world. I'm gonna
Oh,
sing
yeah.
mine.
Gonna
Actually-
make me feel.
Oh, Love on the Brain is so good too. She has so many. Actually, yeah. I'm gonna say not to keep the people in suspense, 'cause I'm sure that's why everyone tuned in to our. I'll say what first came to mind, and I don't know if this will be my favorite, but it's the first one that came to mind that I'll put in a basket. Would be
It's a classic.
I don't want to sing it, Jonathan.
Umbrella.
I'm not a good singer.
Ella.
No. It would actually be one you guys probably might not know this, but it's like in this California king bed, and something. I just love that part.
All right.
I'm sorry you guys had to hear
What's the
that.
song
what
called?
song?
I did
what
it,
song
Jonathan.
is that?
What's the song called?
It's called California King Bed.
California King.
love
Bed.
it.
It's not one of her most known, but it's.
I'm gonna listen to it
It
tonight.
just came to mind.
Yeah,
I like it.
I'm gonna find that.
It's not one of her.
Rihanna's
I guess,
the goat.
She has so many hits.
All right, John.
Here. Yeah.
Umbrella.
Yeah, sure.
You want to say, or maybe in a chant, say under my umbrella, Ella.
Under my
And-
umbrella, Ella.
Nice, there you go.
Lord.
That's
There we
your
go.
song.
That's
You
torture.
did it.
Good thing I don't
I
have
know,
to sing
I'm
the
not
New
happy
York
with-
State song because the Browns didn't make the playoffs.
Or
Wow.
the Texas, right?
Texas, yeah.
Do you know any Rihanna song?
Yeah, he does. I know.
I know
sure
he
you
4 or
dances
5
to song in his
seconds.
room.
It played-
but I really.
That's a great
John
a
doesn't
good
listen to much music except for like like EDM remix stuff,
What's that?
right?
Hmm.
Like the club music.
The club music, yeah,
sure, you're
Oh,
right.
club music.
Like they put club beat over like a song.
Oh yeah, I do like that.
Okay. I would say everyone has heard Rihanna, even if it's against their will.
Yeah.
She is so
Yeah.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
You know, it's just,
It's been a while. It's been a while since she came out with a song, but
I actually think she's been on a hiatus
How'd she
or
get
something
this
for
then? How'd they ask
5
her to do
years.
this?
Well, I mean, she's
she's the goat.
Rihanna.
Yeah, she's the
Yeah.
goat. It's just like last
Yeah.
year. They had all the
But-
old heads, man. I wonder who she's gonna bring out. That would be cool.
I wonder too. Last year's was one of my favorites in recent memory.
It was amazing.
That one was such a good one.
All right, so to cap off the Super Bowl episode, we had that Rihanna thing, and that's pretty much all I got, guys. Any more stats to throw out before we leave it up to the players to decide who will win the Super Bowl? And the Roman numeral, I never know which one it is. What number
Yeah.
Super Bowl is this? Can anyone tell me?
56. No, 7.
57?
57. It's
57.
like a.
57. Yeah. I never know the Roman
I think it's
numeral.
LVII. So L is 50,
Yeah.
and I was 52. So 5 years ago. So then the new one will be
57, yeah.
LVII. So V is 5. I think.
Yeah, I think
hope
that's
I'm
right.
but I'm pretty sure it's
Yeah,
57. My explanation could be wrong, but I'm
And
50 for Super Bowl.
nice. And I do want to mention that Juju did say that Philly does not have the best cheesesteaks. That was Juju Smith-Schuster that
Oh,
said that.
see, now
He's
they're all
got
talking.
fighting
That's
words.
that's not right.
Fighting
you can't
words,
start
bro.
talking before the
You could-
game.
I like what Kelsey said though. He was like, "No Chiefs fans do not touch the Rocky
Yeah, don't
statue.
touch it."
Don't put an 87 up
Yeah.
there." I think that's wise. That's why this could be anyone's game just because of that. Because every time someone tries to, it's not. So that was smart. That was smart game planning from Kelsey, Travis Kelsey. Excuse me.
Smart. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for watching and listening. If you guys enjoyed, please leave a like and comment down below your picks for the Super Bowl. Guys, it's the last NFL game of the year, so enjoy it. And look, we still got more football because the XFL starts next week and the USFL starts, I think, in April. So there is going to be football to hold us over, but it will not be NFL football. So enjoy this last NFL game for a very long time. And enjoy your company, enjoy your family and friends that you're with. Enjoy the food. Make sure you have some chicken wings. Don't be
I'm
like
not gonna
John
eat
over
one.
here.
John
No,
eats chicken
no,
wings. You know you.
John loves
not,
chicken
not
wings.
on Super Bowl.
Honey
though. I
buffalo.
never do.
Really? You don't even do you consider boneless wings edible?
Yeah, I don't eat boneless wings on Super Bowl either.
Hmm.
But this year I
Just
probably
pizza.
will.
Yeah, we're
Just-
making
But I'll
some
make
good
sure
wings.
to have less than 20, so that somebody else has to be like overindulge.
You don't
some
wanna add to
spidey
the
sense,
billion
some
pounds.
spidey sense tingles in some guy in New Hampshire, and he's like, "I'm actually a little hungrier now.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have some more."
I have greatly.
I have
overindulged.
to fulfill this stat of 1.2 billion wings.
I want to stop eating. I want to stop eating, but I can't because John isn't eating his.
John,
fair
yeah,
share.
John's not eating his fair share. Enjoy some wings, enjoy pizza, and thank you guys so much again for watching. We will see you guys next week.